Rise and shine, Uganda. Good morning. How are you doing? Wednesday, midweek happiness, 27th of July 2022. My name is Philomena Mastiko, and when I say midweek happiness, I am pretty sure you will take a peek of what I'm talking about. My colleagues over here are drowning in happiness. They're glowing, the joy. I cannot explain. You know, sometimes, yes, and I'm not complaining that we're never happy, but sometimes the happiness goes an extra mile. And you start having questions popping up in your mind. What happened? Why did this man or this lady slip? Well, I would definitely want to know what happened or what's making them. Could be, you know, what's happening around the country. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. They will be letting me know. I am joined, of course, by Mollen, Kenyena, the lady. I do have Felix Nkunda, the man with the glasses, and the man himself, the senior. Robert Kirabo, Nyonyintono. Maybe to start off with you, the senior man, Robert. Good morning.
Seniority.
Seniority has to come into play at this very specific moment.
One day you will kill me. Good morning, Felix. Good morning, Mollen. Good morning, Philo. And of course, good morning, our viewers. Well, why am I happy is because first, is the security in Karamoja. Yesterday, we got reliable information from the commander of the operation that at least 200 guns had been recovered in 2 months. Okay. And this is record-breaking because this number of guns will be recovered in 4-6 months. So when the people of Karamoja now have peace, we hope that they'll be able to go back to their gardens, do some cultivation, and of course with government plans in a longer, sustainable way, we hope that will see the light of the day. But I was more impressed by the people of Soroti East, and I want to say thank you so much, people of Soroti East. Why? Soroti East, we've had a number of by-elections in this country, and I must say they have been bloody. Campaigns have been bloody, we've seen lives lost. But the people of Soroti East, there's a way they conducted themselves, that even when the convoy of NRM met with FDC, remember NUP and FDC brought forces together to support one candidate. But these guys were simply looking at the others, waving, and I was like, we need this. Of course, many attribute it to the way security has behaved itself there. They are saying there is no heavy deployment. You may think they're not even in a by-election, but I want to say thank you so much, people of Soroti East. I hope, I pray, that even during the voting day and after, you maintain this historical by-election campaign mode.
Well, seeing as that today is the eve, I must tell you that the tensions are quite high. The pressure is also high. Everybody wants to see their candidate come out victorious. But we are here to see that, and later on, of course, we'll be having quite a number of people who will be telling us what's happening over there in Soroti on ground. And of course, we would love to know the preparations towards the D-Day. How are they standing? Good morning, Mollen.
Yes, a very good morning to you, Philomena, and the team. And of course, I want to say good morning to your family here. Good morning, Uganda. Thank you very much for always keeping it with us. Now, Philomena, as following up on the fact that we do have RDCs and RCCs, their deputies in Chiankwanzi getting a retreat. And specifically, when Honorable Millie Babalanda was talking to them, saying, you guys are representatives of the president at that level. So while we go through this retreat, you have to remember that whatever you're representing at the district level, this is the president's word. This is the president's action, and you should be doing that. And I feel like this was a much needed thing because most people have misinterpreted RDC's office, because at that level they should be also helping implementing government policies, but we have not seen that in the past. And I do hope that coming out of this retreat, they really know exactly what people need from them. But also, Philomena, we still have an issue of rising prices of commodities, both food commodities and fuel prices. And it was interesting to see that the Russian foreign minister is in the country, and all he had to say was this should not be blamed on Russia as a country.
Yes.
Because he also stressed that countries, European countries, and of course the US, these people have been fueling this kind of war by putting sanctions on Russia. They have prolonged the war between Ukraine and Russia, and that of course is going to take a toll on nations. So it shouldn't be blamed on Russia as a country. These guys that have put sanctions, hence prolonging the whole thing, are to be blamed. And also seeing that President Yoweri Museveni was saying that Uganda will not take a side.
Yes.
Obviously, because there is war between Ukraine and Russia, for us to remain friends as Moscow and Kampala, nothing is going to change. And for us, we're all about that relations, and we can't take sides here. So we do hope that, you know, him being here, of course, helps us also to renew our friendship with Russia. And obviously, we know that they also don't want this war to go on. So in my mind, I was like, okay, the truth is, these countries putting sanctions for sure is prolonging the war. Have they recognized that, and can they even stop doing whatever they are doing so we can stop there and the world comes into order? Because this is not just in Uganda where we're seeing food shortages or prices going up. It's almost everywhere now. But and it's a big concern.
It's a big concern, but also when you talked about the president talking about the stand of Uganda as a country in all this Ukraine-Russian war, Uganda represents what most African states actually decided to do. They realized that this is not good for us. We cannot be taking sides, because clearly we are we are beneficiaries from both countries, and it won't really look good on us for us to take sides. So if you're a smart person, just be a neutral. You be a Switzerland between the two countries and see where that takes you. Felix, the man, Council. Good morning, sir.
Well, good morning, Philo. How are you?
I'm great. How are you feeling?
You look awesome. You look magnificent. You look bellicous this morning.
Thank you.
And I want to use the same words for my darling Mollen. You look equally brightened.
Thank you, thank you.
When I looked at the two, I was looking at the two of you on screen. I'm like, wow, how lucky are they? And then I looked at my big man, my brother Robert as well, sharp as he is, the senior, and clearly he's equally flying this morning. But probably it's because it's Wednesday, it's midweek. Robert, good morning. Felix, yeah, Robert, we had a conversation earlier here with Robert. If I shared with our viewers, they will agree that he's indeed a senior. But nevertheless, it's midweek, by the way, and I guess that also brings new and beauty and probably promissory to the end of the week. But you guys been talking about a couple of current affairs, but being Wednesday, Mollen and Philo always tell me it's Women Crush, we call it.
Yes.
It reminds me of this Bible story. Remember when one of the wisest men, if not the most wisest that we have known in times of the biblical or theoretical background, that is Solomon, when they brought a matter before him about two women, the Haggai women, who used to stay in one house, then they woke up with one of the kids had died, so they brought, all of them were saying, this is my child, and he told them, okay, bring me a sword, then let me cut this kid in two pieces, so both of you take a piece. And then one of the women is like, no, please don't cut this kid, let her keep the kid. Like it's quite beautiful how much love mothers have for most of us. I mean, of course, all of us have been mothered by women, which is a matter of fact. It's not like there's any reverse of the same. So in days like this, I want to celebrate women who are mothers, specifically. The ones who don't have children, sit down. We will deal with you. But and I'm not talking about but I'm talking about those who are not in studio.
This conversation. But there are ladies, there are women who haven't exactly biologically birthed children.
There's only one who have birthing children.
They haven't birthed some of these children, but they have mothered them.
So they're guardians.
They are guardians. They have done way more responsibilities.
So today we are talking about those who have birthed.
And from what I know that most of the women actually could be doing
absolutely. No, but honestly, days like this, we want to celebrate all women who have been able to carry a child for 9 months or even less or more, been able to raise those kids, and today you stand somewhere and you're proud of the products that you brought into the earth. God bless you, and God bless you.
You're the most amazing people. Well, while we are celebrating the mothers, I still have something I need you to know. Now, we've been talking about the parish development model, the pillars, and we know that right now it is the talk. Everybody is looking at the parish development model. But I will tell you that Uganda Bureau of Statistics has quite a different story. They actually believe that Uganda is not yet ready for the rollout of the parish development model. Why? Because through a system they had produced to generate information. This is the parish development model information system, where they're supposed to generate information from the research they should have done, household to household, knowing things like what kind of economic activity are you fully involved in, how much do you earn. All this information is really necessary for this PDM scheme to be able to be rolled out efficiently and create results. But I believe that the research is not yet done, the information is not yet officially out, so it doesn't make sense for us to roll out this PDM without having this information. So whether we roll out or not, when we don't have this information on our hands, it might not really be as much efficient. You get a Bureau of Statistics.
Okay.
Yes.
Who funds them?
So I am wondering and I'm questioning, where are we? Because this information that is supposed to be generated is supposed to be feeding in all the pillars of the parish development model.
But also economics were arguing that at this point, the whole implementation of the parish development model might not come into play the right way because the population was not informed about what to do. So like people are not trained on even how this will be working. That will create a gap. And what they're arguing is that even when you release this money into the population, it might not be as effective since you have not carried out sensitization first. And I know this is something that also members of parliament did stress out before even the budget was passed, that how about we have trainings for parish to parish, make sure that people are aware of how this money is coming and what it should be used for. But for you to release money to the population, they don't know what to do with it, it's just going to be a failed project. So I hope that moving forward, even before this is put into, now we know even the information is not there from what the Bureau of Statistics is saying. How about you have this sensitization campaigns running for now before the money comes through, and that is something that should be done by governments, I believe.
Well, to me, I think the biggest mistake Ugandans are making is fronting financial inclusion. Parish development model has 7 pillars, and financial inclusion is neither the first, nor the second, nor the third. Pillar number 1 is increased production. Now, why I would concur with the UBOS is because they said we lack data to know who are these people, what they do, because for you to get money under parish development model, you must be doing something similar, and you form a circle, what we call entities. That is when you get the money. And for a certain category of people, not everybody, none of us here qualifies for money under the parish development model. Yes.
Oh, Felix, you
are
saying this. You keep saying
for yourself.
What do you know why I said that? I know the parish development model. I had training through UBC, took us through 2 days training.
Educators.
And the truth
and they
is,
told you more than
none of us. This is looking at removing 39% of people who are not in the money economy, transferring them into the money economy.
Okay.
Each of us here is seen as a Ugandan in that way because you earn.
This man has a bad heart, man.
That's not a bad heart. That's why people need to understand. I'm giving you
are exposing us on national TV.
I'm giving you what the program is all about. I'm informing you of what the program is all about. So
that sort of life.
That is the problem, that many Ugandans are eager, we want the money. No. There are other pillars that if you understood them, implemented them, even if you don't get the money, you still move into that economy. So I believe and I'm happy this time we are going slow to avoid the mistakes of rushing, releasing money, doing this. We can only release money when we are sure we are ready.
Money too.
Well, I still believe that we still have a lot of sensitization to do and also to give our people, especially the target group for this parish development model. I will tell you one thing for sure. In your free time, I want you to go and talk to certain people and ask them what this parish development model is. I can guarantee you that only like about a few people will tell you what it is. But at least what I know is that everyone is expecting money.
Oh, then that is wrong.
So there is a lot of sensitization.
Now you see why I was saying that there needs to be sensitization, because when you tell a lay person at a ground level, when you talk about parish development model, all they can think about is money. There is money coming. Now Kirabo is here telling us there are 7 pillars. No one cares about the pillars. People care about the money that is coming.
Money coming in.
So no one
that's why they have given you money and you've not transformed your livelihood, because the basics are the basics. You've not taken them on.
We've not taken them on because quite example, people don't even know. I want you to tell me, Robert, how many people know about these 7 pillars of the parish development model?
I must confess they could be very few.
Exactly.
But also Ugandans must learn to get interested in certain things.
They have the will to know what's happening.
Yeah, but many don't have. You look at our politicians, criticizing before reading. And for me, I believe he who has not researched has no right to speak.
There you
So
go.
that is the mistake we get.
There you
go.
go.
Smartphone, Google.
Yes.
Kirabo,
Stories coming in and out on the news desk.
That was
Yesterday we
peanuts.
were quite busy, and I can guarantee you that we still have more stories coming in. But for now, it's time for us to issue in some of the stories that you could have probably missed. And that is, of course, on our Ugandan soils and outside Uganda, outside the African continent. We need to know what's happening over there.
And we'll begin with President Museveni and the Russian Foreign Affairs Minister, where President Museveni stressed that Uganda will not be drawn into global geopolitical wars, adding that Uganda is in a position of making informed decisions on who to work with. Museveni said this while meeting Russia's Foreign Affairs Minister at State House Entebbe. The Foreign Affairs Minister, who is on the third leg of Africa visit, was received by Foreign Affairs Minister J.J. Odong on arrival at State House Entebbe before going for a closed-door bilateral talks with President Yoweri Museveni. Addressing journalists after the meeting, President Museveni revealed that they had fruitful talks with his guest. Museveni spoke in detail about Russia and Uganda's relationship, thanked Russia for standing with Africa for the last 100 years more during the anti-colonial movement. He said, "This is a strong bond and can't be forgotten." Museveni also revealed that Uganda is now looking at strengthening trade relationships with Russia. Russia also thanked the African countries for their support and cooperation. On his part, the Russian Foreign Affairs Minister thanked Ugandan officials for the good cooperation that the two countries enjoy and said they will ensure they continue to build these relations. Russia Foreign Affairs Minister, who was speaking through a translator, blamed the oppressive sanctions by the West when asked about the increase in global food prices. He added that Russia is ready to negotiate with Ukraine so far as to find a lasting solution to this problem. The visit comes at a time when Russia is soon hosting the Russia-Africa Summit, and according to Moscow, African nations' role is set to be enhanced in Russia's new international relations policy.
The Prime Minister, Robin Nabanja, has appealed to border riders to embrace the ongoing registration process of border riders to help streamline the sector. Nabanja says the exercise is aimed at creating order, eradicate criminality and tax evasion in the sector. But also the Prime Minister, Robin Nabanja, did call also to motorcycle riders to take advantage of the ongoing registration to regulate their business identity. This is aimed at cleaning the operations of the border sector in the country. And Nabanja also said that consultative meetings with motorcyclists, also known as border riders in Kampala, where she received a report on the sector's management. The Minister of Works and Transport, General Edward Katumba Wamala, said the ministry reviewed the registration charges and license fee, which he says is definitely affordable. Now, Kampala Affairs Minister, Ms. Kabanda, appealed for more investment in the border industry, including SACCOs, for growth of the same industry.
And moving away from issues of border, the Minister Designate for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Norbert Mao, will be sworn in today at State House Entebbe following his appointment by President Yoweri Museveni and approval by Parliament. The Democratic Party president, while addressing the media, pledged constitutional reforms as some of the ideas that he will recommend to government. Amidst contestation from the opposition about his appointment, Mao pledged to advise government on possible solutions to address issues of political prisoners. Mao committed to speaking to the party members who feel dissatisfied by the agreement, following discerning voices from his own party, DP, that the President General never consulted the party leadership when he committed the party to what many political analysts have described as a marriage of conveniency between DP and the ruling NRM. The signing of the agreement between Democratic Party and government received mixed reactions from different political parties, wondering whether DP will still remain the same. However, some groups stated that the Democratic Party, they will ensure the party continues and want to come up with new leadership now that they believe Mau has moved on, and they are moving on to see how best this can be achieved.
Now, still in local news, the Chief Justice Alfonso Nyonyintono has declared high levels of corruption, secretarism and nepotism as major bottlenecks undermining the quality of service in the public sector. Justice Nyonyintono says dealing with this menace requires deliberate efforts by those in charge to demonstrate patriotism while rendering service to Ugandans. Now, he was presiding over a swearing ceremony of members of the Public Service Commission at the High Court in Kampala following their appointment last month. 9 members of the Public Service Commission yesterday morning take oath of office, pledging to render diligent services at all times. Witnessing the ceremony were Ministers of Public Service, Minister of State for Primary Health Care, and the Head of Public Service and Secretary to Cabinet, Minister of Public Service officials, Head of different commissions, and judicial officers led by the Chief Justice Alfonso Nyonyintono.
Well, looking at some of the international stories, Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman arrived in Greece on Tuesday and is due to head to France later in this week. His first European Union trip since the 2018 killing of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Khashoggi's killing and dismemberment by Saudi agents in the kingdom's Istanbul consulate in October 2018 brought the powerful Crown Prince international condemnation. Now the prince will meet with the leaders of both France and Greece to discuss bilateral relations and ways to enhance them in various fields, according to the official Saudi press agency, citing a statement from the royal court. The trip comes less than 2 weeks after US President Joe Biden visited the Saudi city of Jeddah for a summit of Arab leaders and met one-on-one with the Crown Prince, greeting him with a fist bump. That move sealed Biden's retreat from a presidential election campaign pledge to turn the kingdom into a pariah over the Khashoggi affair and wider human rights controversies. U.S. intelligence agencies determined that the prince, Saudi Arabia's de facto ruler, had approved the operation that led to Khashoggi's death, though Riyadh denies this, blaming rogue operatives. Crossing over to the UK, the latest Tory leadership debate between Rishi Sunak and Liz Truss has been cancelled after the presenter fainted on air. The Sun and Talk TV debate, hosted by journalist Kate McCain, abruptly halted around halfway through after a loud crash was heard. Talk TV said McCain was fine, but the channel had been given medical advice not to continue. "We apologize to our viewers and listeners," the channel added. The leadership candidates tweeted that they were relieved to hear McCain was fine and indicated they would be happy to stage a rematch. The Talk TV presenter had been due to co-host the debate alongside the Sun's political editor Harry Cole, but he pulled out after testing positive for COVID. Before it was halted, the latest televised debate between the two candidates had been covering tax, the state of the NHS and rising living costs. They had been about to begin a section on the UK support for Ukraine when the debate went off air. The candidates displayed a more conciliatory tone in contrast to the fierce clashes that had marked Monday's debate on BBC One. Ms. Truss repeated her charge that the former Chancellor had been morally wrong to put up national insurance.
Egyptian TikToker held in Saudi over immoral video. A popular Egyptian social media influencer has been arrested in Saudi Arabia, accused of posting sexually suggestive content. Tala Sofan, who has 5 million followers on TikTok and 800,000 on YouTube drew anger online amid claim of a recent video that had lesbian undertones. Ms. Safwan said that she had no intentions of posting that, but police in the strictly conservative kingdom, however, said the video could harm public morality. With her short dark hair and expressive face, the young vlogger front's upbeat style is aimed at teenagers. Her videos have catchy tabloid-like headlines as she discusses TV shows and issues sent to her by her followers, now mostly about relationships and embarrassing situations. She sets up pranks and carries out challenges just like many other successful content creators around the world. But one of her recent videos has drawn a very different reaction. And in her clip, she is seen chatting to a female Saudi friend whom she invites over to her house. Now, her subsequent remarks had been interpreted by some as being sexually suggestive. That set off a big campaign against her with a hashtag trending on Twitter that translates as Tala offends society. And in our nature news, a large earthquake hits Philippines' Luzon Island, rattling up to Manila. Now, an earthquake has hit northern Philippines, shafting windows at its epicenter and causing high-rise towers to shake more than 300 kilometers away in the capital of Manila. The quake, which struck the mountain province of Abra on the main island of Luzon at 8:43 a.m. local time, was measured at a preliminary magnitude of 7.1 by the U.S. Geological Survey. Now 7.2 by the European Meteorological Seismological Center and 7.3 by the Philippines Institute of Volcanology and Seismology. Now this is said that the earthquake's epicenter was about 11 kilometers southeastwards of the town of Dolores. Pictures shared on social media by local officials and residents showed some of the buildings that collapsed into rubble, with others leaning. Now, the windows shuffled, but some cars were also crushed by the debris, and the roads left cracked and damaged from the effects of the earthquake. There were no immediate reports of casualties, and Police Major Edwin Sagio told AFP News Agency that people in Dolores had run outside after the earth shocks.
Well, there you go. In the meantime, when we talk about all these things, of course, we cannot forget to talk about the health. You know, Robert voluntarily handed me this bottle. It really looks beautiful. And every other day when I see him holding it, I'm wondering, how does it feel? So I wanted to have to have the experience, feel it. And maybe I could pick the energy that you use while you're talking about these bottles. But before we get into that, first tell me more about these bottles.
Well, first, like you said, they're beautiful, well designed. They look pretty compared to many bottles on market. Second, the content.
Yes.
Because it's not only about beauty, there must be something more. And what is the secret here that makes it different from any other drink on market is the fact that it is an immune booster. So when you drink this away from the sweet taste or feeling good, your health, your immune system is being boosted. So at just 1,500, imagine 1,500, you enjoy the drink, but as it is relevant to your body. Don't just drink anything you find.
Just a quick one to Uncle Bob. How many of those do you take on a day?
1 or 2.
Oh,
Yeah.
lovely.
Well, and you know what I love most about this is that you have actually options. You could go with the tamarind flavor, you could go with the ginger flavor. Well, you're spoiled for choice. So, I mean, take it. 1,500 Uganda shillings. Felix, 1,500.
And for the
Definitely.
ladies,
Yes.
this does great when it comes to your skin. It's a detoxifier, so it saves you so
Detoxifies,
much when it
right.
comes
Mollen
to
has a lot to
makeup.
say about that.
When it comes, instead of spending so much
I guess
on makeup
my
and all
skin
that.
is equally okay, but I would take recommendations
Check how
for
wonderful
sure.
mine is.
Yeah, I would take recommendations
Sit
about that, but I also know that Luya is actually having ginger, and ginger has a lot to do with the skin actually as well. So yeah, I think I'll take Kirabo's notion on that.
Absolutely. Well, while you're going up and about your Wednesday, grab yourself a bottle of these to make sure that you're ready. Your body must be ready. You must make sure that it is ready. But also what you need to be ready for is more conversation that will be coming in the next hour. But for now, seeing that it is a Wednesday, Woman Crush Wednesday, we are definitely crushing on one of the ladies who's going to be inspiring us on this Wednesday, giving us a beautiful song. When we get back, of course, we'll be getting into the Good Morning Uganda newsreel. We are streaming live, so make sure you catch up on all the stories that you've probably missed and those that we are yet to have. Good Morning Uganda returns shortly.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala.
Sweetness from the flavored drink Alleluia Jingati drink and Alleluia Tamarind drink. The flavor that quenches your thirst while at the same time treating and healing your body because it is 100% natural. Enjoy the drink that has got the tamarind juice in it. Made by Alleluia Reflexology, Healthy Solutions and Nutritional Research Center Limited. Get yourself a bottle of Alleluia from all shops around.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Rise and shine, Uganda. Good morning. How are you doing? Wednesday, midweek happiness, 27th of July 2022. My name is Philomena Mastiko, and when I say midweek happiness, I am pretty sure you will take a peek of what I'm talking about. My colleagues over here are drowning in happiness. They're glowing, the joy. I cannot explain. You know, sometimes, yes, and I'm not complaining that we're never happy, but sometimes the happiness goes an extra mile. And you start having questions popping up in your mind. What happened? Why did this man or this lady slip? Well, I would definitely want to know what happened or what's making them. Could be, you know, what's happening around the country. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. They will be letting me know. I am joined, of course, by Mollen, Kenyena, with the lady. I do have Felix Nkunda, the man with the glasses, and the man himself, the senior. Robert Kirabo, Nyonyintono. Maybe to start off with you, the senior man, Robert. Good morning.
Seniority.
Seniority has to come into play at this very specific moment.
One day you will kill me. Good morning, Felix. Good morning, Mollen. Good morning, Philo. And of course, good morning, our viewers. Well, why am I happy is because first, is the security in Karamoja. Yesterday, we got reliable information from the commander of the operation that at least 200 guns had been recovered in 2 months. Okay. And this is record-breaking because this number of guns will be recovered in 4-6 months. So when the people of Karamoja now have peace, we hope that they'll be able to go back to their gardens, do some cultivation, and of course with government plans in a longer, sustainable way, we hope that will see the light of the day. But I was more impressed by the people of Soroti East, and I want to say thank you so much, people of Soroti East. Why? Soroti East, we've had a number of by-elections in this country, and I must say they have been bloody. Campaigns have been bloody, we've seen lives lost. But the people of Soroti East, there's a way they conducted themselves, that even when the convoy of FDC, of NRM met with FDC, remember NUP and FDC brought forces together to support one candidate. But these guys were simply looking at the others, waving, and I was like, we need this. Of course, many attribute it to the way security has behaved itself there. They are saying there is no heavy deployment. You may think they're not even in a by-election, but I want to say thank you so much, people of Soroti East. I hope, I pray, that even during the voting day and after, you maintain this historical by-election campaign mood.
Well, seeing as that today is the eve, I must tell you that the tensions are quite high. The pressure is also high. Everybody wants to see their candidate come out victorious. But we are here to see that, and later on, of course, we'll be having quite a number of people who will be telling us what's happening over there in Soroti on ground. And of course, we would love to know the preparations towards the D-Day. How are they standing? Good morning, Mollen.
Yes, a very good morning to you, Philomena, and the team. And of course, I want to say good morning to your family here. Good morning, Uganda. Thank you very much for always keeping it with us. Now, Philomena, as following up on the fact that we do have RDCs and RCCs, their deputies in Chiankwanzi getting a retreat. And specifically, when Honorable Millie Babalanda was talking to them, saying, you guys are representatives of the president at that level. So while we go through this retreat, you have to remember that whatever you're representing at the district level, this is the president's word. This is the president's action, and you should be doing that. And I feel like this was a much needed thing, because most people have misinterpreted RDC's office, because at that level they should be also helping implementing government policies, but we have not seen that in the past. And I do hope that coming out of this retreat, they really know exactly what people need from them. But also, Philomena, we still have an issue of rising prices of commodities, both food commodities and fuel prices. And it was interesting to see that the Russian foreign minister is in the country, and all he had to say was this should not be blamed on Russia as a country.
Yes.
Because he also stressed that countries
This morning, we also do have a special guest joining us, talking about some of the things that we are yet to be seeing or that we have been following up. And when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about the by-elections that are meant to be happening tomorrow. That is in the Soroti City. To be very specific, the East Division Member Parliament is what we are looking at, or the person we'll be looking for. This morning, I am joined by Mr. Paul Bukenya, the PRO from Uganda Electoral Commission. Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you and our viewers. How are you doing? And so good to be on UBC TV this morning.
Yes, we are also happy to see you.
Great, great, great. I feel
Felix,
welcome.
good morning once again.
Again, I was just here wondering how Paul was able to wake up. I don't know if he wakes up normally. This is the right time for him to wake up.
This man looks like he has that energy. He wakes up very early in the morning.
It's duty.
Yeah, we are. How do you do it? So that's a good one.
The way you do it.
That's a good one.
Yeah, sure.
Well, we are joined by Mr. Bukenya over here, and we're going to be talking about what is happening in Soroti. We want to know, how does it look like, the preparations? I can tell you that for the last couple of days, we have been seeing campaigns that have been, being held in high gear. All these political parties fronting their candidates. We have seen special guests coming in to go and campaign for their candidates, because at the end of the day, everybody wants their candidate to take this one home.
Sure.
But maybe just to start off right now, how are the preparations going so far, at least from the point of view of Uganda Electoral Commission?
Well, viewers, and the by-election program for Soroti City East is progressing well. And right now, where we are, as of today, 27th, we've come actually to we've concluded the campaigns.
Yes.
So tomorrow is polling day. So we are set as Electoral Commission, and we know that the electorate is also set. We rolled out this program in the month of June, updated the register, displayed the register, nominated candidates who have been campaigning for the last 5 days, 6 days. And they concluded the campaigns yesterday. the process has been moving on smoothly.
Oh, yes.
Through the exercises that we've held, the registration of voters, the display of the registers, the nomination of candidates, and largely even the campaign period. We've seen a largely peaceful campaign. So what we see right now is final preparations, which now brings us as Electoral Commission at the center, because the candidates are now taking a backseat. Not that they are going to rest or what.
Yes.
I know they're still up and down, but mass campaigns, all this engagement is now over by law. It ends. We set the date within which they should campaign and when they should stop. And so as Electoral Commission, we've prepared the ground, we've prepared our teams, and we've delivered the materials that will be used for purposes of voting tomorrow. So we recruited staff whom we've trained and we've deployed them where everyone should be, and the materials they should use, the appointment letters, those are the facilitation, the logistics that we put in place. And of course, working together with the security, Uganda police, to ensure a peaceful electoral environment. So as I talk now, all the election materials, and by that we mean the polling kit. The polling kit includes the ballot papers for a particular polling station, the voters register, the biometric voter verification kits, those machines we use to confirm your identity at the polling station. And then the forms, the declaration of results forms, and several other forms that are used on polling day. By law, we do send out several forms which capture the conduct of the exercise. So all of that has been delivered to this station, to Soroti City East, and we will be dispatching those materials to make sure that polling starts on time tomorrow, 28th. And we've been working with the candidates and their agents, as well as observers, to ensure that they see what we're doing. So far, we're going good, I should say.
Maybe just still related to the same, Mr. Bukenya, is just probably to give our viewers a picture of how many people we are looking at in this particular by-election who are qualified to cast their vote. Do you have specific numbers? We know, as a matter of fact, that probably these are the eligible voters in this by-election.
Yeah, sure. Soroti City East has total number of registered voters, 36,442 registered voters. These are the voters we have after updating the National Voters Register. And so these are the voters for whom we've prepared the elections. We printed their ballot papers and everything. We issued them with voter location slips so that they could identify their polling stations. We have 63 polling stations in this electoral area. And we also have 13 parishes. In urban areas, we call them wards. So we have 13 wards, and we've structured our deployments and supervision to ensure that throughout these 13 wards, which should normally call parishes in rural areas, are supervised well, and that all the 63 polling stations have their materials in time, so that all the registered voters who present themselves on polling day tomorrow are enabled to vote.
Okay. What time will the polling, will the voting start?
The voting starts at, the polling station by law opens at 7.
Okay.
So at 7 a.m. tomorrow, we've been sending out messages, vote education and all the mobilization, that please, if you vote at polling station A or UBC polling station here, turn up in time so that at 7 you are able to open a polling station. We have a challenge these days that by law, polling station is supposed to open at 7, and we send in the kit, the polling kit, and we're supposed to have the voters from that polling station present before it is open. And one of the challenges we've had is that sometimes the voters take their time. They do not come in on time. Or when one person comes and doesn't see a group of people, they say, you know, like, let me first go back to my garden. But we need a minimum number of voters before we open a polling station. So I think that's why we've had an issue, that we've not raised 5 registered voters at that polling station. We don't have a number that is required by law to open the polling station. And so the materials are there, the officials are there, and the polling station is not opened. Otherwise, opening time is 7, and polling goes on from 7 and does not go beyond 4 p.m. So we close the station at 4 p.m.
Oh, 4 p.m. So you cannot vote after that.
You cannot vote after that. Although if you're in a line by 4 p.m., you can be allowed to vote.
If you're already in the queue, you can vote, but you cannot join the queue.
You cannot join the queue. Just like the bank. If the bank closes at this particular time, you're inside, you'll be served.
You'll be served, absolutely.
Yes.
But now you can't join in. You can't get in because the closing time is 4 p.m. So we've been, since this is largely urban, this is the city, we've been urging voters to turn up in time, and so that we vote and finish and count and declare the results of the election.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe also because this is one of the many others that have happened, probably you could give us a picture on what has been the success of some of the by-elections you've carried out so far. How many are they? Because that probably will inform us on how this definitely may go. We have had challenges of, but that you've explained, starting late and then some people not voting. How has been the previous by-elections prior to this particular one in Soroti?
After the conduct of 2021 general elections, we've had a few by-elections. We've had local government by-elections where we've held elections for sub-county chairpersons and councillors. At district level, we've had one by-election. That was the district chairperson by-election in Kayunga district.
Oh, yeah.
At parliamentary level, we've had a by-election for Member of Parliament for Omoro County in Omoro district. So arising out of the 2021 general elections so far, those are the by-elections we've held across the country. Of course, each by-election is unique, and we learn from it. And there are patterns that are seen in different areas, a commercial, an urban area, a very highly rural district where, the constituency is very rural. The patterns are a bit different. People go to the gardens first, and then come and vote and remain to wait for the counting. People come in the afternoon after they've done all the work. Then, of course, each one, like I've said, is unique. But certainly, we approach it like that, which is why one of the first things we do when we're holding a by-election is to first go and engage stakeholders and get to hear them. How best can we achieve this?
That particular locality.
That particular location, because each one is
quite
peculiar. And, yeah. So I think what we've learned, first of all, is that Ugandans are more, the civic awareness is high, it's increasing every other day. So they know what's going on, they make their choices, they know that, for example, a vacancy has occurred. And sometimes, then they turn up to vote for the candidates of their choices, of course. Then when you come to campaigns, and we've seen that there's been observance of the standard operating procedures. Of course, sometimes we don't have the masks and all that.
Yes.
But the caution and all that they do, observing the SOPs during nominations, the crowds and the movement. But we've also had confrontations during campaigns where there's violation of venue.
And that's actually what we want to look at.
Yes.
Violation of campaigns. So when the exercise gets a phase final and they say it's Felix contesting, or Philomena now is coming in and they say now there's a phase. So that's when it hits up and we start to see more maybe compliance issues coming in, but largely these are things we've worked together with security, with candidates, their agents, and also where it's been possible to work with civil society to show that this is an election. On Friday we'll have finished the elections. We'll have a candidate who's waiting to swear in, and then people need to have their lives. They need to have their markets back, working, the schools need to be open, the markets don't need to be burnt down. So those are the messages we send out. But basically the challenging time is normally when the exercise gets a phase and now they say this is our candidate, and then we're going to fight for our candidate
and that's where we really want to,
that's where we get the issues.
Yeah, and I mean, it was bringing us to our next question, seeing that we have all this multi-party system running, and for the last couple of days we have been seeing a bunch of people getting away from one party, moving to another party, as for as long as you have to do what you have to do to make sure your candidate is fronted. But in all of this, is there any way that the electorate is actually affected, especially when it comes to your operations as the Uganda Electoral Commission? Does this affect you in any way?
The conduct of candidates and the political parties
Yes.
and the voters directly affects us, because these are processes that we manage, we organize by law. When you go back to Article 61 of the Constitution, and it sets up the Electoral Commission, and the mandate is to organize, conduct, and supervise elections on a regular basis. So if you're the one who is organizing and conducting, that means implementing the actual exercise, and then supervising to ensure that there is compliance. All these issues affect you. For example, when political parties have internal issues and they fail, for example, to agree on a candidate, or dispute the outcomes of a primary election where they identify candidates, it directly affects the smooth conduct of it can directly affect the smooth conduct of the exercise. Because why? We may end up with contestations and complaints and petitions that may delay some processes, or even lead to overturning. If someone, for example, goes to court and is successful and there's an injunction, we may not be able to proceed with the exercise. What we've seen in the past is that when parties disagree and have factions, they end up in front of us. And then you need to make sure you get back to them so that they resolve. Find a way. At one time, there's a political party that had issues, and it made life hard for us. Two factions, and one group went with a stamp, the official stamp, which we know, and one group had this official seal. So aspiring candidates would come with nomination papers endorsed by the rival secretaries general.
Yes.
And this one has a stamp, which is official stamp registered with us. And this one has a seal, which is the official seal registered with us. So how do you do that? So there you have to engage them, you have to dialogue and say, guys, we need to resolve this. And you go back to what you have in law, what you have in your files and records, and there's work. But of course, one of the things is the emergence of independent candidates. They become many independent candidates when they do not agree on resolve issues, and which is allowed in law. But also the rival groups can become maybe chaotic and violent during the campaigns, because they are from the same home, the same family, we know each other, they know each other very well. And when that arises, we engage and we insist on enforcing the guidelines, and yeah, that is that's what happens in us.
But I think by far, I think these are one of the by-elections that have really been smooth. Of course, a few, scuffles here and there, but we haven't really had major stories where we're seeing violent acts of violence and then chaotic situations like previously or in other elections.
Have you heard of any cases?
Have you heard of any case that probably
not a situation that would probably stop a campaign meeting from progressing, or the issues that have come up, particularly what comes up during exercises and are managed within the context there, within the area. Nothing has happened that is that derails the process. And when that happens, we consider that as success, because the exercises we've conducted have moved on smoothly. Where there have been complaints, they've been rightly addressed to the commission, and there's been engagement and dialogue. For example, complaints were brought. A complaint was brought that about the status of voters within the two parishes, Alowet and Opiar, which were the reason for actually the nullification of the results. That people who voted under a different constituency should not come in to vote in the new constituency, because then they would have voted for 2 members of parliament. But that was a concern. It was a very great concern, and they put it in right. They followed the law. They did the right thing, raised it officially, and we had to come together, invite them, the petitioners, and study their petition and determine it in accordance with the law. We were able to determine that nothing stops a person from participating in a by-election because they participated in an earlier the general election.
Yes.
A by-election is a by-election. It has been ordered by a court, and you cannot tell someone that no,
you can't cast your vote.
You can't cast your vote, or even apply to transfer as a voter from one polling station to another, or rather from one place to another. So those are the issues. So where there have been issues, they've been addressed and resolved. And that's why we have had a successful campaign period and a peaceful one. And then the voice that we've sent out has been that let's go all the way up to the end. This is our city. This is, after all, we're going to, elections come and go, and then the community still stays together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But also, maybe just to bring another question into the context of our discussion, is we have normally noticed lots of deployment in many places where we had by-elections, and springing from all levels at council, at district, now even at parliamentary level. Is this informed, and this sometimes is attributed to fear of violence, which you did touch a bit. But the question is this a sanction of the commission that is intended to limit, and most people have interpreted it as a limiting factor for people to vote. Is this a sanction of the commission? Is this now the way you work, or is it now a new fashion of probably policing elections? Maybe just throw some light on why we see lots of deployment in some areas and not probably other areas, and is it your own making?
Of course, by-elections have a way in which they attract the attention of so many stakeholders, because you remember it's a localized exercise. It's not national that everyone is within their own areas. So many players tend to come into the electoral environment during by-elections, and they need to be managed. And one of the things that happens, first of all, security has a place in elections. You cannot organize elections in an environment that is not secure. And for that reason, police has a role, a key role to play in ensuring a peaceful electoral environment, because law and order remain in force. They remain in place, and the law remains in place even during elections. Just because you're a candidate doesn't mean you're at liberty to do everything, campaign in the middle of the road, go everywhere, do everything. No, it doesn't mean that. And so that's why police presence is very, very important to ensure that law and order is maintained. But also, the deployment depends on the security concerns and issues in an electoral environment. And what we've realized as election managers is that actually, contrary to what people think, the electorate is more confident when they are assured of security.
Yes.
That it is secure, I can leave my garden, go and vote and come back. And in an urban area like Soroti, and I believe I'm not the right person to talk about security and all that in detail, but I know that in an urban area where there is a lot of activity, a lot of movement, a highway to the Karamoja region with lots of traffic and all that, you need to make sure that no one disrupts the normal flow of business or flow of life. Because electoral environments tend to get exciting. There's a lot of excitement during elections, and you never know who takes advantage of that to do. But there's also need to ensure that the people who participate in the electoral process are those who are allowed to participate in the electoral process. For example, people who come to observe elections, by law we're supposed to accredit you in order to come and observe elections. And that's why we state and emphasize and we really emphasize that do not come into the electoral environment unless you are a voter, unless you are media, and accredited media, because we're accredited media, we accredit media, unless you are an accredited agent, observer or agent. Otherwise, there are times when you come to polling stations and now that they are political parties, you could come to a polling station, UBC polling station, and there are 5 agents of one candidate, and they're giving orders to the presiding officer. And they're all leaders, members of parliament. And they're agents at the polling station. And the young man is already intimidated. So for that matter, we regulate the electoral environment. You are not at liberty to just move in the way you want. It has to be, you have to limit access to the tally center. Goons can attack the tally center. We've had cases where
stealing ballot
boxes are grabbed. Some ugly points at some place where they were crossing from an island, and someone decided to kick the box and falls into water. So electoral material needs to be protected. Electoral staff, personnel need to be protected. Then the voters themselves. And then the post-election, after declaring of results, people get excited and they say, oh, we have beaten you, oh, we have done that. And so you need to make sure that out of that excitement, no one is endangered, no property
people deal with excitement.
So security is part of the electoral process. It is necessary.
Well, so it shouldn't be something that we worry about. So I guess we are ready to go. Soroti must be ready right now, Soroti City.
Soroti City East by-election program is ready. And The polling, everything like I've mentioned, has been delivered into the electoral area to the returning officer.
Okay.
And we're ready to have the elections tomorrow.
So maybe also, Philo, Mr. Bukenya, before we leave, should just give us a glimpse of who is standing,
yes.
how many political parties, if you don't mind, and probably the particular people that will be part of the people that should be voting for, if you may.
Yeah, we have we nominated Southeast is going to have elections, by-elections for Member of Parliament, and also one of the parishes, the ward, is going to have a by-election, that is the local government. So at parliamentary level, we successfully nominated 3 candidates.
Oh, okay.
And that is Moriat Pascal, who is independent. Then there is Moriat Pascal. Then there is Ariko Herbert Edmund Okoro, that is NRM. Atan Okia Moses of FDC. We have 4 candidates who are nominated for local government,
yes.
the parishes. So that is Pioneer Ward. And we have, so the parties that we have in this election are UPC, Uganda People's Congress, NRM, and FDC at parliamentary and local government.
Okay.
Okay. All we can say is that all the people from Sorority City, all you have to do, for as long as you are eligible and you are in an accredited position to go and vote, please go and cast that vote and keep time, okay? Keep time. And we can also wish you success, and we hope everything turns out as it should be. And by the end of tomorrow, we'll be knowing who will be representing Sorority East in the August House. Well, please be disciplined, because I know as Ugandans we get overtaken by events, excitement and all these other things. But we can also tell you that security is also there to make sure that things run in a proper order. Thank you so much, Mr. Bukenya, for coming in this morning.
Welcome.
And giving us this update. It's quite very important, creating a picture of what is happening over there. Yeah. Well, that's it from this morning's discussion. We'll be getting into the dailies to see the big stories. That is, of course, in our press review. Good morning.
A World Cup in the desert? The first one in the Middle East. The first to be held at the end of the year? That's crazy. Get ready for spectacular moves, high-flying saves, unbelievable goals. Out of this world celebration.
Would you believe it? What a moment here!
All 64 matches live. That's over 5,000 action-packed minutes of the FIFA 2022 World Cup Qatar. Now that's crazy. Catch all the action only on SuperSport, your world of champions. On Go TV. Love it.
When you talk about our motherland Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, you cannot fail to smile because of the smile that fills the faces of the citizens. Our nice good weather and nature that sustains us all, that enables us all to continue each in their own way, because we are all different even according to each individual's work. But what joins us to become one person is the sweetness from the flavored drink Alleluia Jingati drink and Alleluia Tamarind drink. The flavor that quenches your thirst while at the same time treating and healing your body, because it is 100% natural. Enjoy the drink that has got the tamarind juice in it. Made by Alleluia Reflexology, Healthy Solutions and Nutritional Research Center Limited. Get yourself a bottle of Alleluia from all shops around.
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone and enjoy free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 Uganda shillings. That's free 2 GB for the first month and free 1 GB for the next 11 months at only 250,000 Uganda shillings with free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 shillings, making the effective price of the 4G phone 163,500 shillings only. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Every waking day is a reminder just how beautiful this, our land, truly is. The kind of beauty that you can only find here. In the lush green all around us and the wondrous sights within. It's what you feel in the gentle caress of tropical wind from the mountaintops. And the glow in your heart from a warm neighborly invite. It's in the distinct aroma of our cooking to the taste of food that takes you on a journey. In the sound of homecoming and the sound of Mother Earth. In the magnificence we find on our travels and the exciting moments we experience. Ours is the kind of beauty that comes in all things big and small. All we have to do is awaken our senses and truly enjoy what's uniquely ours. Explore Uganda, the pearl of Africa.
The Tales of Kasozi, brought to you by Uganda Communications Commission.
Hello? Hello? This is Kasozi. How can I help you?
Hey, Kasozi, my brother. Long time. We last met when we were at campus. It's been a while, but you are the person I'm looking for.
Campus? Really?
Hey, you don't remember me?
Okay, so how can I help you?
I'm stuck in Gulu making millions and I need to urgently send money to my sick mother. But I can't find any mobile money agent near me. I've sent the money to your phone, as you can see the message. It might take a few minutes to come through, but I urgently need you to send the money to my mother. Let me send you her number and you send it to her chap.
My friend, I'm afraid your mom is going to die.
What?
Because I don't know you, I never went to campus, and I'm also in Gulu. So can we meet at CPS, we talk about it?
Stay tuned for what Kasozi does next.
Tofera, refrain from unnecessary engagements with strangers over the phone. This message is powered by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
The press review starts right now. We get to take a first look at the Daily Monitor. The big headline, civil servants salary to delay. And of course, this is news that is quite unwelcome, I must say. The revelation that civil servants across the country will have their July salaries late has rubbed workers the wrong way, with some questioning the government's planning. Now, this is a story you can catch up on page 2 of the Daily Monitor for this Wednesday morning. And looking at diplomacy, President Museveni defends position on Russia-Ukraine war. And of course, President Museveni, in the company of Russian Foreign Affairs Minister Sergei Lavrov at State House Entebbe yesterday, who is here visiting, and he, defended his country's military adventure in Ukraine, an action that Uganda has neither supported nor condemned officially. And again, this is another story you can look out for in the Daily Monitor this morning. But also in more news, we're looking at UBOS asking government to hold release of the parish development model money. And man attempts to cut traffic officer in Bale. I must say that people are really losing it at the end of the day. Now, this is a story you could also catch on page 3 of the Daily Monitor. Still in more news, Besije Bobby camp in Soroti to drum support for FDC Zatan. Now, the by-elections will officially be happening tomorrow. The campaigns are officially stopped. So we need to also be on the lookout to know how it's going to go down. All these stories and more in the Daily Monitor. But we also do have the New Vision this morning. Mollen.
Well, crossing over to the New Vision, the bride and groom, Pastors Jessica and Robert Kayanja to counsel couples. That is on page 6 of the New Vision. Government explains salary delays. That story is on page 12. And also the big headline right there, Russia to sell oil to Africa. Putin writes to Museveni. That is detailed on page 3 of the New Vision. And also give you a picture right there of Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov as he hands over President Museveni a message from Russian President Putin at State House. Now, in the energy sector, free gas cylinders, what went wrong? That is on page 10. But also crossing over to Kenya, war of words over detained foreigners continues. That is a story on page 32. And across Soroti, NRM FDC lock horns, of course, following the by-elections that is due. That is on page 5 of the New Vision. But also more to look out for as schools are on spot over illegal learners registration fees. That is a detailed story on page 12.
The sports section of the Daily Monitor feeds you with peace update, chip doubtful. And again, looking at the Birmingham 2022 Commonwealth Games. And the superstars Prescovia and Wokorach are the team captains. Well, also these are kind of, the championships we are yet to find out how our people, our representatives will be doing. In the English Premier League, there is a season build-up and the star player Cristiano Ronaldo is in talks with new Manchester United boss Erik ten Hag to discuss his club future. And former captain Shadil tips Bombers and wishes them success. They are giving you also a cutout of the Bombers squad, who is who and what position they are holding. Well, all that in the Daily Monitor Sports this morning.
And looking at the New Vision Sport as well, talking about sport is now a shilling 47 billion richer. Well, that is interesting. Talking about the outgoing State Minister for Sports, that is Hamson Oboa, believes that his greatest achievement in sports was increasing the sport budget. That was from shillings 17 billion to shillings 47 billion. And of course, they give you details on that story. Kukundakwe is targeting personal bests. And that is, of course, talking about the Paralympian and national para swimmer Kukundakwe, who will be aiming for a lot as he competes in the Commonwealth Games for the first time. We're talking about Birmingham 2022. Now, there are a lot of the sports stories right there for you. Get yourself a copy of the New Vision.
Crossing over to the Daily Nation, that is, of course, in Kenya. What is happening over there? And I will tell you that the big news still, we are looking at decision 2022. And right now we are just 12 days away to the elections. Who is going to be the next president of the Republic of Kenya? Ruto's field day as Raila skips debates. Now, DP William Ruto was over there, and we do have some Wajakoya who had something interesting to say. And he showed up, but he left in a half after his demands to debate with Ruto and Raila were turned down. And also Maure was there, and apparently he says that he was told many Kenyans have already made a decision on who they will be voting for. Now, that's a story you cannot afford to miss. And they're still taking you through buses or death cages. Quite a number of people who perished in a Sunday bus accident. This is 35. This is the figure we're looking at. And 9 people actually survived, but the rest perished. Now, again, another story you can look out for in the Daily Nation. Coming into the health sector, we look at eye photos could soon tell if one has diabetes. How do they plan to achieve that? Well, grab yourself the Daily Nation and look out for that and more. And looking into the economy, hard times push more Kenyans to default on loans. Now, this, of course, is quite expected, not only just in Kenya, but even in other countries. Loan defaulting could be very, very inevitable, considering that the economic times are not moving in the favor of very many people. And 16.9 Kenyan billion shillings capitation to schools sent. Again, you can get the full story in the Daily Nation this morning. So go on and grab yourself a copy of the Daily Monitor, the New Vision, and the Daily Nation to see what's happening around you and within the country as well. But also another essential thing that you have to look out for are the traffic updates this morning. And it's a Wednesday. Usually business is a bit slow because it is midweek. However, I could tell a different story, or I could tell you something different, especially if you're coming in from areas of Seta, if you're coming in from areas of Boyogere, Chirika, as you're headed towards Nakawa, Lugogo, and towards the city center. I could say that this road is actually very busy, usually Monday to Friday. So if you are commuting in from Seta all the way to Boyogere, you need to expect some traffic spots over there that are really heavy. And as you're approaching, of course, Namamve, you can clearly tell that the red spots there start building up. And this shows you that the traffic in this given spot is actually heavy. And also considering the areas or the parts of the road that lead you to this specific spot have some traffic building up. So if you are around Namamve, this is an expectation that shouldn't take you by surprise. Well, the Kampala-Jinja Express Highway definitely is always busy. We have trucks coming in from Jinja and all these other parts. So it makes the road a bit busy. Well, as you're headed, of course, towards Boyogere, well, the traffic starts becoming heavier by the minute and the red stretches keep taking a toll. And as you get to Boyogere, the junction over there where you have cars coming in from Chobe Road, you have cars trying to maneuver all the way until behind Nambode. There is again some traffic build-up you need to expect over there, and it's actually quite heavy this morning. When you manage to go through it, as of course you're headed towards the Chirika Shopping Center over here, it's very, very busy this morning. I could say that cars coming in from Namugongo Road that are trying to join the main road could also be partly the reason why we are seeing such a heavy traffic build-up in this very specific shopping center. But also by the nature of the fact that it is a shopping center, there is a lot of business going on. We have very many motorists moving up and about, so it is expected. We can also say that you could take a detour off and use Chirika Road if you don't want to cross over all the way till Banda. Speaking of Banda, Banda has some traffic also building up here and there, but any minute now it could become heavier. So again, that's another expectation that you need to have at the back of your mind. However, for the rest of the road, I could say that it's pretty much free until, of course, you are joining in until Nakawa Junction, where we have cars coming in from Tinda Road and also cars coming in from Chinawataka. The spot is actually quite very busy, as of course as demarcated by this red spot, and we also have traffic building up around that area going on all the way until, of course, Nakawa. It shouldn't be really a big problem going through Lugogo. However, when you get to the city center, still using the Kampala-Jinja Highway as you're approaching Ministry of Internal Affairs, you need to expect the traffic over there in that specific spot. So coming in from all these areas, you need to have a plan at the back of your mind. If you're already in it, well, you have to exercise quite some patience. Right now, I will now leave you to Mollen to tell us what's happening in the sphere of weather and climate. What are we looking at, Mollen?
Well, this morning we're starting off with quite some rains across our areas within, the central part of Lake Victoria, and of course, mostly West Nile. We're having more of those rains coming through, and I think it's some good news, Philomena, if you look at the way it has been dry across several places. So
yes.
I hope we appreciate the rains that are coming through.
Oh
right
yes,
now.
we do. I will tell you that I see some bits of Kampala becoming cloudy in the morning, and the heat is not as scorching as it has been, at least for the previous days. So we are thankful. We are grateful. So
yeah,
I don't know if
sure.
the trend will be continuing, but I will be very happy if it does. Well, I will leave it at that. My name is Philomena Mastiko. I now leave you to Mollen to give you more about the weather and climate.
Well, thank you very much, Philomena. Now, we do have some rains that are coming through. That picture right there is from the Lower Yusufule Road, showing a little bit of rains that are coming through for right now. And of course, most of those areas have also been having a little bit of those isolated showers for this morning. That continues throughout some of the areas within Kampala. And of course, that extends to the Lake Victoria place, as well as parts within Wakiso that are having a little bit of rains for this morning. Now, that much system will be seen from our satellites later on. But for now, we want to take a look at what is happening across the world. This morning we were covering the story about the earthquake in Philippines. What we do know that so far from 3 places they have reported the earthquake at least having a magnitude that is of 7.1, 7.2 and of course 7.3 magnitude of the earthquake from the epicenter. Now what that means is that we could be looking at much more of these earthquakes actually taking such magnitude. Now an earthquake at 7.1 magnitude could actually take down a building, and that is what we saw in Philippines. And of course most of the buildings have been destroyed over the area. And we do know that early this morning the president was giving out orders of rescue relief operations in the quake hit province. Now that actually extended up to Manila. And what we do know so far is that President Fanadin has ordered an immediate dispatch of rescue and relief operations that is towards the area that has been affected by the earthquake of the province of Abra. And we do know that at least for now there are no reported no number of the casualties from this earthquake, as some buildings are still down, and so far the relief operations have just kicked off, so they haven't ascertained how many people could have been affected, or even the extent of the destruction across the area, because we do know that that province is actually a huge part of Philippines, and part of it also extending up to Manila. We are yet to find out, the number of what that destruction has caused across the Philippines, and of course, seeing that the president is ordering for more of the rescue to come through, maybe then we'll ascertain what is going on ground. But also, Philippines has been worst hit by earthquakes, and especially if you look at both the natural and the artificial events that keep happening over the area. They're just dealing with one thing after the other. They're also known to be worst hit when it comes to the typhoons in terms of extreme weather events. It's just one thing after the other for this area, and it's only a sad situation over that place that people have to keep dealing with most of these human-made, human-induced effects of weather. But at the same time, we do have natural events like this that come through, of course, over the area. Now we'll also follow up on that story on the oak fire in California that has so far covered over 18,000 acres of land, and that is towards the Yosemite National Park over California. Now oak fire did start off earlier this week, actually, as we were concluding the weekend, and yesterday they were reporting 16,000 acres of land. But what we do know today is that that has increased to 18,000 acres of land, and of course it is being described as one of the worst ones to hit this area. And so far they're looking at destruction of over 40 structures since it ignited, and of course also from last Friday when the fires were just starting up, the fire crews were even unable to get more done due to visibility issues, and of course the personnel on ground. What we do know is that the oak fire has also been a progress when it comes to its extent, especially the fact that we have over 24 helicopters trying to fight this fire, and a lot of crews on ground to ascertain that some of this fire is contained. However, even with all that effort, this fire has continued with affecting more areas. Now the good news is that there were evacuations that were ordered at the beginning of the fires, but even then evacuations are still going on to the nearby places, because it is expected that it could actually go on and cover more areas across California. And of course that is also attributed to the heat wave over there, the rising temperatures across the place that could be majorly fueling most of these across the area. Well, we also want to come back home here and take a look at the weather that is happening across the country. We'll be tapping in from our satellites, that is from the UMITSAT, giving us real-time data of what is happening across Uganda. And of course, we did start off with those rains across parts of Kampala, and we still see more of those clouds over the area. And most likely they will be bringing us a little bit of more rains later as the day continues. But we are also seeing rains across West Nile, parts of Arua right now as we speak. We do have rains over there where you're seeing the light blue right there, blue colors and green. That is where we have rains, that is across West Nile, and also parts of Midwestern Uganda, across Hoima as you head towards areas of Fort Portal, Mubende as well, having a little bit of those rains as we speak this morning. We do expect most of those systems to continue westwards, and of course that over Midwestern is actually moving mostly southwards, clearing off, but this will be dumping in some rains, especially for areas of Fort Portal. We do have that in Mubende as we speak. Hoima starting to clear up a bit. That could be clearing for more intervals of sunny and cloudy conditions, but we still have those clouds developing. That is the system right there across the West Nile that is bringing us rains for now. But we are also looking at southwestern Uganda, where we're seeing most of those systems starting to form up. Mbara as well, having a little bit of those rains coming through towards areas of Kabale. We could be looking at a rainy morning for southwestern Uganda for today. And of course, we do have most of those clouds that are starting to form as well towards the eastern parts of Lake Victoria, across Tororo, Jinja. We have a cloudy morning for now. We're looking at Kampala as well, dealing with mostly cloudy weather. A few of those rains are dropped in, starting to rear up, but we expect some of those systems to redevelop as the morning progresses. Quite a sunny morning though across Moroto, parts of Soroti, Amuria, as well as the Karamoja region, but central northern Uganda remains with cloudy weather for this morning. We'll go ahead and take a look at our forecast for this morning, and that will be coming in from the Uganda National Meteorological Authority. We'll also take a look at those numbers for today. Now let's start off with the parts of Mount Elgon Highlands, where we have Mbale, Bududa, Boko, Sironko. We are forecasting isolated showers. Those will be across several places, starting off with a cool 23 degrees centigrade. Now looking at the eastern side of Lake Victoria, we have clouds over there. Those will be developing into rains coming in through several places, starting off with a chilly 25 degrees centigrade. Now across eastern Uganda, where we have Soroti, Katakwi, Muria, Kumi, we are seeing some clouds that are starting to develop for now, with mostly in terms of sunny and cloudy conditions, but we do expect those rains to come through across a few areas. That will also be starting off with a cool 25 degrees centigrade. Now the eastern side of Central, where we have Ruwero, Woblenzi, Burudi, Nakaseke, we are forecasting light rains. Those will be starting off with a pleasant 26 degrees. Now for the central part of northern Uganda, where we have Gulu, Kitgum, Padel and Jumani, we're forecasting isolated showers. We already have some of those rains coming through and mostly cloudy weather. Do expect that system to continue throughout the morning. Temperatures will be going for a beautiful 26 degrees centigrade. We do expect most of those systems to stick around later in the afternoon. Now across the central parts of Lake Victoria, that is where we have Mukono, Kampala, Entebbe and Wakiso. We already saw some of those rains coming through. Right now we're having mostly cloudy weather, but we do expect more developments in terms of rains even as we head into the afternoon. Temperatures will be starting off quite chilly at 24 degrees centigrade. Now generally it seems like we could be dealing with a little bit of low temperatures for this morning across the country, and of course that is attributed to the cloudy weather over the country. That is in terms of the rain-bearing clouds that are over the country as we speak, and of course that helps to keep things down in terms of temperatures. Well, that is all I have for you in terms of weather for today. We do have Good Morning Uganda agenda coming your way right after this, and then later than that we'll also be going in for sports highlights, and later than that we'll be going into Good Morning Uganda Extra. My name is Mollen, Kenyena. I want to wish you a good day.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
When you talk about our motherland Uganda, the pearl of Africa, you cannot fail to smile because of the smile that fills the faces of the citizens. Our nice good weather and nature that sustains us all, that enables us all to continue each in their own way, because we are all different even according to each individual's work. But what joins us to become one person is the sweetness from the flavored drink Alleluia Ginger Tea drink and Alleluia Tamarind drink. The flavor that quenches your thirst while at the same time treating and healing your body because it is 100% natural. Enjoy the drink that has got the tamarind juice in it. Made by Alleluia Reflexology, Healthy Solutions and Nutritional Research Center Limited. Get yourself a bottle of Alleluia from all shops around.
We bring you a fresh, well-researched program to help you identify opportunities for investment, job creation, growing your entrepreneurial skills, wealth creation, and social transformation.
We have a product that is ready for schools, supermarkets.
Create wealth, transform livelihoods. Every week we showcase opportunities for creating new products and services.
I now harvest a lot of cocoa. When I harvest it, I sell. After selling, I put money in my project. I have 2 projects. One is for construction of my house. 2 is for educating my children.
Excellence in innovation, the passion and drive to succeed, and the right mindset to grow your business. Create wealth, transform livelihoods. Brought to you by Operation Wealth Creation.
Welcome to English in a Minute. Lions are fierce hunters. What the lion wants to eat, the lion eats. Let's hear lion's share used in a conversation.
Wow, we made a lot of money at our charity bake sale.
I know. We're rich. We're rich. We're rich.
You do know that the lion...
Oh, Susan, I want to propose to Rose. Yes, and this time I am serious.
Have you guys had sex?
Duh, of course.
And have you had sex without using condoms?
Hey, Nga, you're curious.
I'm more concerned. Are you having sex with other people?
Hey, hello. Is this an interview or what?
No, just things you should think about. Do you know Rose's HIV status?
Okay, this is serious. Should I be worried?
It is actually serious. Do you know your HIV status?
I think I am safe. Many times we get into situations that put us at risk of HIV. However, the first step to ending HIV is getting tested and knowing your results.
It's Time Up HIV. Call 0800-211-046 or text 8080 toll-free for more information about how to prevent HIV.
This message is brought to you by Ministry of Health with support from USAID.
Every waking day is a reminder just how beautiful this, our land, truly is. The kind of beauty that you can only find here, in the lush green all around us and the wondrous sights within. It's in the distinct aroma of our cooking to the taste of food that takes you on a journey, in the sound of homecoming and the sound of Mother Earth. In the magnificence we find on our travels and the exciting moments we experience. Ours is the kind of beauty that comes in all things big and small. All we have to do is awaken our senses and truly enjoy what's uniquely ours. Explore Uganda, the pearl of Africa.
Also have enough air.
It is intellectually engaging.
And you can only become a leader when there are problems.
I like that.
The same applies to Rwanda, Burundi. So what are we federating?
Whether rats from another country can be, somebody must be there to hold everybody accountable.
But at the moment, we would rather deal with what we have, make it right.
First of all, we as elites of Uganda, we have made Museveni the issue. I can tell Museveni is not the problem of Uganda. The problems of Uganda are much deeper. We can change the next 20 presidents and we'll still be this roundabout.
Deeply incisive.
The different political forces that we have in the country, we don't seem to really have achieved that minimum political consensus.